Good morning, students. Today we are going to start the Newton's law of motions after completing the balanced and unbalanced forces. First topic is we are starting with inertia. We all know that a body in the state of rest means it is not moving. It remains into the state of rest until or unless it is being compelled by some external agency. For example, a book which is lying onto the table. It will not change its position with respect to all surroundings unless we try to push it or we try to pull it. That is when some external force is applied, then only the body changes the state from rest to motion. Likewise, if the body is in motion, moving with constant velocity, let us suppose a car is traveling. It keeps on moving with the same speed until or unless some external force, that is the brakes, are applied to stop the motion. So a body does not change its state either of rest or of motion by itself until it is being compelled by some external agency. Now see, we consider a book is in the state of rest. Suppose instead of the book, we are having a block of mass 10 kilogram. Suppose the mass of the book is 1 kilogram. To set the motion of both the bodies, naturally more force is required to set the motion in 10 kilogram compared to 1 kilogram. Means whenever we apply some external force to change the state either from rest to motion or from motion to rest, body has a tendency to oppose. Every body tries to oppose the change in the state. Body tries to oppose the change in state. If it is in the state of rest, body will remain into the state of rest. If the body is in motion, it will keep on moving with the same velocity. Whenever some external force is applied to change the state from rest to motion or from motion to rest, body has a tendency to oppose that external force. That nature, that tendency, that process by which the body opposes to the external force, this property is called as the inertia. We find that the inertia of 10 kilogram is more than the inertia of 1 kilogram. That is, inertia is the natural tendency of the body to oppose any change in the state from rest to motion or from motion to the rest. Very clearly, inertia of the body directly depends on mass. Greater the mass, greater the resistance, greater the opposition the body will offer to the same force. So a body always tries to maintain the state until or unless it is being compelled by some external force. When some force is applied, body tries to oppose that force, tries to oppose up to its capacity. And the capacity of a body to oppose the force directly depends on the mass of the body. Greater the mass, greater the opposition the body will offer. That opposition offered to the body by the body to that external force, that term is called as the inertia. So inertia means it is the tendency of a body to maintain its state. Directly varies with the mass, greater the mass, greater the opposition the body will offer to the external force. Based on this idea of inertia, we have got Newton's first law of motion. Newton's first law is the law of inertia. I write here first the Newton's first law of motion. The Newton's first law of motion is the law of inertia. Now, we know a body can be in the state of rest, body can be in the state of motion, or body in the motion can change the direction. So Newton's first law of motion is also called as the law of inertia, can be divided into three parts. First part is the law of inertia of rest. Inertia of rest means a body which is in the state of rest will remain forever in the state of rest until or unless it is being compelled by some external force. So I am writing the statement here. A body in rest will remain in rest unless it is compelled by force, or I say until it is compelled by the external force. For example, a book which is lying onto the table, it will remain as such in the state of rest until we try to disturb its position. Means it will remain into the state of rest until or unless we try to either push it. When we push, it will change the state, right? We do not want to change the state, we do not apply the force. Means it will remain into the same state of rest until or unless it is being compelled by some external agency. For example, a bus suddenly starts. The passengers which are standing, they fall into the backward direction. Why it is so? Because as soon as the bus starts, the feet which are in contact, they come into the motion, but the upper part of the body tries to maintain the rest, and that why it starts falling in the downward direction or backward direction. The second statement of the inertia is the inertia of motion. The second law or second part of this law is the inertia of motion. Now see, until or unless some external force is applied, a body which is traveling with certain velocity v, we know if the velocity of the body is suppose 10 meters per second, it will keep on moving with the same velocity until some external force tries to stop. For example, if we roll a ball onto the ground, after traveling certain distance, the ball stops here because there is some force which is trying to oppose the motion of the body, and that is of course the force of friction. So inertia of motion says that a body which is moving with certain velocity, a body moving with certain velocity will keep on moving with same velocity, will keep on moving with same velocity unless external force tries to change the motion. So if no external force is being applied, the body trying or body moving with certain velocity will keep on moving with the same velocity forever. So many external forces are there which stops the motion. For example, when we apply the brake to a car, the car stops. A moving ball stops because of the frictional force between the ball and the ground. If there would have been no force of friction, if there would have been no brakes, the car keeps on traveling with the same velocity forever. This law is called as the law of inertia of motion. Means a body moves on, keep on moving with the same velocity until or unless certain external force is applied. The third part of the law of inertia is the inertia of direction. Because we know that force is that external thing which can change the state either from rest to motion or from motion to rest, or it can change the direction of motion. If there would have been no external force, the body maintains the state either of rest or of motion with the same velocity or in the state of rest. Inertia of direction says that if a ball is moving here, suppose, with certain velocity, it will keep on moving in the same direction with the same velocity until some external force tries to change the state or tries to change the direction. Suppose we apply to the same ball one external force here. Instead of going this way, the ball will start now coming this way. So whenever we try to change the direction of the motion, we have to apply certain external force. That is, the body moves in same direction. The body moves in same direction with same speed, moves in same direction with same speed, will continue to move in same direction, will continue to move in same direction unless some external force tries to change the direction of the motion. Tries to change the direction. So, law of inertia, the Newton's first law, is a very basic fundamental law which says that there is no change in the velocity until or unless some external force is applied. There is no change in the direction of motion until or unless some external force is applied. So, inertia is divided into three basic parts, and you must understand very clearly that the inertia directly depends on mass of the body. Greater the mass, higher the position the body will offer to the same external force. So many examples of inertia are there. Suppose we have got one glass and a cardboard is being kept, a coin is being kept onto the cardboard. If we apply the external force on this cardboard, the cardboard moves in the forward direction while one coin will come into the glass. Because whenever we are applying to the force to this body, this starts moving. But since the body, the coin was in the state of rest, it will try to maintain the state because no force is being applied and it will fall down. A moving bus suddenly stops by applying brake. The passengers falls into the forward direction because as soon as the brakes are applied, the feet which are in contact with the bus, they instantly come to rest, but the upper part of the body was in the state of motion, so it will go into the forward direction. So these are so many examples of inertia. A body always tries to maintain the state of rest or motion. The second thing after inertia is the word momentum, or we say that the linear momentum. Now say, if I am talking, a stone when dropped onto the glass floor, it hits the surface but it will not damage. But instead, from the same height I drop one big stone of mass, suppose 2 kg onto this glass surface, it will break the glass surface. Why it is so? Because see, the momentum consisted, or momentum 2 kg is having is more compared to the momentum a stone is having hitting the ground. Likewise, if I assume one more thing, two cars are traveling in the same direction. Suppose one is traveling with 5 meters per second, another is moving with 10 meters per second. Both the cars are having identical masses. The motion contained in the second car is more than the motion contained in the first car because it is moving with greater velocity. So momentum is the term which is related to the both mass and velocity. Now see, momentum is the term which is defined as basically the quantity of motion in a body. Quantity of motion in a body. And the motion depends on two factors. Motion depends on mass, motion depends on velocity. Now, greater the mass, greater will be the momentum. Momentum is expressed by the symbol P. It is a vector quantity having the direction, and it is expressed as the product of mass and velocity. We know mass is being represented by the symbol m and the velocity is represented by the symbol p. So the formula of linear momentum p is mass multiplied with velocity. Very clearly, the momentum directly depends on mass of the body, momentum directly depends on the velocity of the body. if I write SI unit of momentum, since the mass has the SI unit of kilogram, velocity has the SI unit of meters per second, so SI unit of linear momentum is kilogram into meters per second. So momentum means basically the quantity of motion contained in a body. Let us suppose there are two bodies, body number 1 and body number 2. If mass of both the velocities are same, first body is moving with velocity v1, second body is moving with velocity v2, and such that if I assume v1 is greater than v2, the momentum of first body, if I write the momentum of first body, I write it v1. I know it is the product of mass and velocity of the body. Since mass is same, velocity is v1. For second body, the momentum is v2. It is again the product of mass and velocity of these two bodies. Now, if I divide these two equations, we will be getting one important formula. Dividing equation 1 by 2 to write momentum of first body to the momentum of second body, it is m into v1 upon m into v2. M cancels out, it will be v1 upon v2. Since v1 is greater than v2, as we have mentioned here, we will be having, since we write here, since the velocity of first body is greater than the velocity of second body, it implies the momentum of first body will be greater than the momentum of second body. So very clear concept, two bodies having same mass, that body which is moving with more velocity is said to be having more momentum. Second case I am taking, suppose the mass of first body is m1, mass of second body is m2. Both are traveling with the same velocity. The momentum of first body I will be writing as m into m1 into v. The momentum of second body I can write as m2 into v. Since the velocity is same, I assume that suppose mass m2 is bigger than mass m1. We can write the momentum of these two bodies as the ratio. This will be m1 into v, and for the second body it will be m2 into v. Naturally m1 upon m2 because v cancels out. Since m2 is greater than m1, we will say that the momentum of second body is more than the momentum of first body. So out of the two bodies, the body having more mass is said to be having more momentum. The body moving faster of same two masses will be having again more momentum. So momentum is the term which depends on mass and velocity of the body. Now one numerical I am doing. A ball of mass 1 kilogram is moving with velocity. A ball of mass 1 kilogram is moving with velocity 5 meters per second. My question is that find the momentum of the body. As we know, momentum is represented by the symbol v, and it is the product of mass of the body multiplied with the velocity with which it is moving. It is given to me the mass of the body is 1 kilogram, and it is given to me the velocity of the body is 5 meters per second. So momentum will be just 5 kilogram into meter per second. Very simple way to find the momentum as the product of mass and velocity. It is 1 into 5. Now, if the body is in the state of rest, we know its velocity will be 0. And when the velocity is 0, its corresponding momentum will also be 0. And we all know that the velocity will increase when we keep on applying the force onto the body. So momentum is one word which relates to the velocity, which relates to the mass. mass of a body, moving body cannot be assumed to be 0. So if the body is in the state of rest, naturally its velocity is 0 and its momentum will be 0.